All right, this is what you need to do. Generally, women should be in the kitchen. Change my mind.
How about this? How about you set up a table? You put generally women should be in the kitchen on the other side.
Table up.
And then you can go ahead and do that.
We can set the table up. It ain't gonna be no argument. Everybody gonna agree with me because it's facts.
Yeah, sure. Then you could go ahead and set up a table and do that for your channel.
Do you admit there's millions of women out there that flourish pursuing their career?
That is a minority.
Do you admit that it exists though?
Bro, this nigga just here to argue, bro.
Do you admit that it exists?
Next person on, bro.
Hey, he's scared to debate me, y'all.
No,
hey,
you're making an argument for the exception and the minority.
The exception is way bigger than you think. That's all I'm saying. You acting like it's 1%. It might be 10. It might be 15. It might be 20. It definitely ain't 1 in 20.
It's still the minority, bro.
Am I wrong?
It's called common sense.
Am I wrong? Lock in, bro.
It's called common sense,
Lock
man.
in, bro.
It's called common sense.
These are just facts, bro. I'm sorry. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. It's cool talking to you, though.
The base of his argument was you losing hoes. That's why I was like, all right, bro.
Come on, Myron. Stand in the fire. You finally met your match. Somebody who's going to give you a taste of your own medicine, and you can't even do it. But this is why I say this style of content has to be the stupidest style of content in the world. I've talked about debate style content on this channel before, and I'm very critical of specifically platforms like Jubilee, who do the one versus style of content. And honestly, it's never anything productive. It's just rage baity and clickbaity the whole time. But I'm not a fan of pretty much any debate style content on the internet, and this video is the reason why.
Spit it out.
No, well, Asians tend to have views, followed by white people, then followed by Hispanics, and then Africans tend to have the lowest.
And I can't argue with them numbers, but no IQ study is ever controlled environment.
Okay.
Like the conclusions are invalid. They don't control for environment. Environment heavily affects IQ.
Now, what the young man is saying is factually true when you do these studies or these experiments. It's something that you learn in middle school, hell, even elementary school for some people, that when you're doing some sort of experiment, there are certain variables and factors that have to take into consideration. Things like environment, things like food, things like, you know, parents being in the household. There's so many factors to take into consideration, but the way that the internet does these sorts of conversations or debates literally just puts this broad brushstroke on the picture so they can paint their narrative however they would like. Now, Myron is smart enough to know that this is to be true, so he can't outright refute it, but he damn sure looks flustered when this is approached to him because he's never had anybody debunk an argument so fast to say that, hey, the material that you use, these weak-ass studies, this 2001 report that you use is selective research. Now, the rest of the conversation depicts exactly what's wrong with this, as opposed to taking in that information that Myron just got from this young man. You know, the information that he probably already knew before, but decided just to leave it out. Instead of taking that in, rephrasing the statement, you know, retracting it or doing any sort of other configuration of a new statement, he decides to continue to push forward and fight forward in order to get his clip off.
Your argument is basically that it's not controlled for environment, so therefore it's not valid?
Exactly that. You agree? Wait, hold on. Did I just change your mind that fast?
No, you didn't.
None of those studies control for environment. You take somebody like me, for example, my environment. Lead paint in the walls, lead in the water.
It's like, no, you're a human, you're able to make decision, you have will, you're able to decide what you want to do.
Him being a human being and being born into a place that has lead paint in the walls and lead in the water doesn't have anything to do with him having free will and autonomy and agency. Myron can't even be genuine in this conversation and just acknowledge that, hey, you know what? Maybe I've never thought of that before, or maybe I am wrong. My thinking here is wrong. Instead, he continues to push forward because in the nature of content that he does, he knows that there is some sort of clip to be found in this, even if it means being as egregious and disingenuous as possible whenever you're debating one of these college kids.
Do you know how to make a sandwich?
Yeah, I do. Want me to teach you?
No, thank you. That's a woman's job.
I think you mentioned you have an open relationship, but specifically on your end.
Only on my end, yeah.
So you take the nuclear family, which is a loyal and faithful husband.
Only women could be sluts. We are the slut makers. This girl's over here trying to call me a slut. Hey, we're the slut makers, man. There's no such thing as a man that's a slut.
This is the nature of this content. No fact checks, just vibes, who can be the loudest, and who can say the most outrageous things that'll end up going viral on Twitter the next day. It's tired, honestly. It is extremely, extremely tired, especially when these things are posed as intellectual conversations where two people are trying to, you know, come to some sort of conclusion, maybe get somebody to change their mind. But it's not really a change my mind, especially when you say things that are as vague as, oh, well, all women do this. And then when somebody says you should probably change the statement to more generalities, you refute even that as an option. Like, there's nothing to be gained in this but clip farming as opposed to an intellectual debate.
Either you're a Christian or you're not. Which one is it?
I could be either of them, but I don't have to tell you.
You don't have to tell me. I was under the impression I was invited to talk to a Christian. Am I not talking to a Christian?
No, you were invited to.
I think everyone should look at the title of the YouTube channel. You're probably in the wrong YouTube video.
You're really quite something, you are.
Aren't I? But you're really quite nothing, right? You're not a Christian.
Okay, I'm done with him.
Even when presented with something that just seems to be irrefutable, or at least would have you stop, pause, and think, this can't be enough for these people that participate or initiate these debates or these change your mind series. Because ultimately, it's not about, you know, the other person changing somebody's mind or even being open and available to that. It is about not looking like a jackass and winning the debate. But I think that that's even disingenuous and nasty, because why are we trying to win in some things that are conversations about things that actually have harm and actually hurt people? Instead of having a pill to swallow, Myron wants to make sure that I'm in control of this clip and we bring it back to where I want to. Because the bottom line is, I can't handle if I am being exposed in public.
These people are in different conditions. That might affect the outcome of the numbers.
Okay, look, we could
Hey,
we could
I'm
sit here.
2 for 2 right now.
Bro, you ain't 2 for nothing,
I'm
bro.
2 for
You're
2
not 2 for
fucks.
nothing, bro. Like, bro, you're not 2 for nothing, bro. Like, the reality is you're over here saying, oh, it doesn't account for society. This is a meta-analysis between hundreds of studies on IQ from people all across the world. And what
All
they
across
found
the
is,
world in different
here's the bottom
conditions.
line, bro. Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is this. Asians score the highest, whites score second highest, Latinos are behind them, and blacks tend to be at the bottom. Because you're literally making excuses saying, well, oh, they didn't account for this or they didn't account for that. When in reality, they probably did.
They probably did. Myron, this is your study that you're presenting. Did you even read it? You should be able to understand the nuances and the details of the realities of the reports and studies that you're bringing to the table to present as facts like you do. Or are you just reading things surface level, getting, you know, perspectives and opinions and studies on your side of the internet, you know, using targeted keyword searches only in order to further your talking point? Like, oh my God, be genuine for 1 single second. But you know what really grinds my gears about this sort of content? There's a level of disingenuousness that I learned when I watched friend of the show, Saji's channel. You see, these people that get into this debate style content, like Charlie Kirk, usually go to college campuses and usually target freshmen and, you know, try to pose it as some sort of greater good that they're doing for society. You know, we're talking to adults and it's time to stop talking to adults like children. You know, the people that are either 17 or just turned 18 and they're freshmen on campuses and they don't really know what's going on. It's cool to get them riled up for the clip. But when I saw Saji's video and discovered how disgusting Charlie Kirk actually was, I knew that this was just to a whole different level.
Charlie Kirk has essentially built his career on going to college campuses and clip farming and embarrassing innocent college students who just want to stand up to this small-faced man. But that's not the way he frames it.
Why do you, as like a professional pundit, think it's fair to come to college campuses and debate like college freshmen? Like, doesn't that seem like kind of unfair to you?
Well, hold on. I mean, let's stop talking down to college kids. I'm talking to voters, right? Or why don't you go bring a professor and bring him up to the mic?
Okay, well...
Charlie, maybe professors aren't debating you because 1, they understand how pointless it is, and 2, you're fucking reporting them for being pro-Palestine. Turning Point USA reported on a number of college professors who have espoused blatant support for Hamas and have promoted anti-Semitic sentiment.
Turning Point USA being Charlie Kirk's nonprofit organization. These professors who are teaching at these different universities who champion different voices and different opinions, etc., for the sake of education, now have to fear coming up to you. So you claim as if it's a safe environment for them to come up to you, but then all of a sudden you make it unsafe to the point where they are losing their jobs over these sorts of things. Charlie, let's be genuine. It doesn't matter which type of debate style content I watch on the internet today. It could be another Candace Owens 1v20. It could be House of Highlights doing a 1 Angel Reese fan versus, 10 Angel Reese haters. It could be whatever. The common things that I see are disingenuous takes on both sides, nasty prompts that leave out a bunch of nuance and have all these plot holes in places and spaces for the person who reads the prompt to be able to back up and say, well, I didn't mean that, I didn't mean that. And ultimately this win or loss culture, in some of these debates or change my minds is so stupid because it's no longer about being a person who is open to, getting in new information. It's about being right, and being right in these conversations is really silly.
Even if you're offensive, women will respect that.
That's
So
unnecessarily offensive, though. You could add a little more precision to your statement. Have everybody happy, everybody more educated.
So here's the thing. The only thing I could do is I could say something that's generally true. I can't control if someone gets offended by that.
This is what you need to do.
They know what they're doing. And at that point, we just can't entertain the conversations and the content. I think Myron is long gone from the days of sitting across from Walter with a bunch of 304s in front of him. And this is his new way of creating rage content. And to be honest with you, it's a lot of these internet commentators' new form of making content. They feel like it's tapping into the real people. But ultimately, it is rage baiting, as admitted by Myron himself. There's no need to prompt people like this or have these nasty circular arguments, or hell, just bring to conversation studies that you don't even know the details of. You don't give a damn about having your mind changed. You just give a damn about what the clip is gonna do. And that's exactly why I do not mess with debate content at all.